Zak McKracken is the story of the titular character, a tabloid writer, who is... actually, his motivation isn't clear. He's feeling unfulfilled with his chosen profession and wants to write a book, but his boss is demanding that he go out on another story. Why he doesn't just quit isn't really explored. While tracking down a two-headed squirrel, he stumbles across a crystal and learns that it's part of a device that can be used to thwart the meddling of an alien race who is attempting to make all of humanity stupider. This was, of course, 1988, so I guess a shallow plot laden with clichés is expected. This brings us to Annie, a crystal expert. Annie is the girl of Zak's dreams, literally, since she also appeared in Zak's dream despite never having met before. She is a member of the Society for Ancient Wisdom, and along with her two friends, Leslie and Melissa, share a dream similar to the one Zak experienced. Despite hogging the title, Zak isn't the only playable protagonist. Later in the game, you will also control Annie, Melissa and Leslie, switching between them at will. What follows is a globe-trotting adventure to find these crystals. It's really a grouping of barely connected set pieces, each complete with their own point-and-click puzzles. In a way, it's a lot more expansive than its predecessor, Maniac Mansion, focusing on several locations rather than a single house. On the other hand, it possibly did make the exploration tedious in more ways than one. There isn't really all that much connecting Zak McKracken to Maniac Mansion, aside from the scripting engine, and it's obvious that it wasn't intended as a sequel. Despite this, it uses the same verb-driven point-and-click interface that has you selecting from a list of actions and objects. The flow of the game is largely familiar. Pick up items that could, at some point, become useful, and then use them in places until you get the desired effect. It's a formula that would carry LucasArts games well into the next decade. The game's sense of humour is also at the forefront, like it was in Maniac Mansion. But rather than parody horror and sci-fi clichés, it tends to stick to adventure films and conspiracy theories. Popular modern mythology, such as ancient aliens, the continued existence of Elvis, and the lost city of Atlantis are all accounted for. Weirdly though, the whole tabloid writer aspect doesn't really play into it much. The graphics are nicely done. You get to see famous landmarks in the background, actual places which you can visit, as well as fictional. All locations are animated, but with quite a high attention to the detail. I remember finding the cutscenes pretty hilarious back when I was a kid. Even gives me a chuckle watching them back now, to be fair. Then again, this game was probably one of the funniest games I'd played back in the 80s. Zak is somewhat on the cynical side, yet he's quite capable of being downright sleazy. Other characters have supporting roles, yet I think most of them are very well in place. Lucasfilm Games' precursor, Maniac Mansion, had raised the bar high within the adventure genre, and it was definitely this game that set the standard by which all future games would be judged. And I'm not just talking about the revolutionary point-and-click user guidance called SCUMM, Script Creation Utility for Maniac Mansion, an engine that enables it to interact with the several graphic elements by using specific verbs. Open, close, pick up, use, etc. But also about the game itself, with its intriguing plot containing horror and comedy elements. You're only able to read scrolls, signs, tickets, books and so on, with conversations being scripted, but that's no real drawback and doesn't interfere with the gameplay. Zak McKracken follows the LucasArts tradition of containing in-jokes, though these were naturally limited at the time. In addition to Chuck the Plant, who first appeared in Maniac Mansion and went on to appear in several other games, there are other Maniac Mansion references as well. At one point in the game, one of the characters comes across a can of chainsaw gasoline with no apparent purpose. The joke being that in Maniac Mansion there was a chainsaw with no fuel. There is also a poster in Luz Lawn's pawn shop advertising Maniac Mansion. Conversely, there is a poster advertising Zak on the wall in the games room in the enhanced version of Maniac Mansion. It's not a major part of the game, but it's always a nice treat and a fun diversion to look for these bonus gags. Certain puzzles also call for up to 3 of the characters to work in tandem. Any of the characters can die, and although it's possible to carry on without them, this is futile, since the team is useless without any of its members. That's not to say that death is around every corner though. The deaths are all very sensible. For instance, if you're on Mars, you shouldn't reasonably take off your oxygen-providing helmet. These deaths are very rare anyway, and never happen without fair warning or due cause. Puzzles in the game are really difficult nor complicated, though taking notes is definitely recommended. A lot of the puzzles revolve around the codes and markings used to access previously unavailable areas. A diagram found in some remote corner of the world will provide the means for unlocking some other far-flung treasure trove. Rinse and repeat until all the requisite areas have been accessed. Most of the other puzzles are of the inventory variety. This game differs from many others in that Zak isn't just a kleptomaniac who roams around thieving anything he sees. He actually pays for some things. There are a large number of items available for purchase in a pawn shop in Zak's hometown, all of which come in handy, even if they're not all essential to succeed. Zak and the other 3 use their cash cards to pay for such things, as well as airfare and other travel arrangements. It is actually possible to run out of money and become stranded, but if you keep an eye on your cash card's balance, this isn't likely to happen. It's always possible to make money by hawking your stuff in the pawn shop or by other means, so this money system acts as another puzzle. Splurge wildly without paying attention to your bank balance and it's game over, or at least becoming stuck with no means of escape. All in all, Zak McKracken and the Alien Mindbenders is a very quirky, amusing game, with a wide variety of locations, an engaging story, and unusual characters. With better characterization, more dialogues, and perhaps fewer mazes, it could have been even better. Still, it's a very good game, with much to offer even today. If you've played through the more celebrated LucasArts games and are wishing they still made them like they used to, Zak and the gang might be just what you're looking for. Treat yourself and get it fired up on your Commodore 64 today. Thanks for watching guys. Were you a big fan of these adventures? Hit the like button and let me know your experiences in the comment section. Also, be sure to check out the video on Maniac Mansion, which I'll link through on the closing credits. Big fan of these games, hours of fun. If you're enjoying the nostalgia, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as there's more games brimming with good memories on the playlists, and more coming daily. So hopefully you'll stick around, and I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, bye for now.